Hi everyone, welcome back. This is going to be our last song of the pop progression here. We're going to learn it in the key of G today with one of my personal all-time favorite tunes. This is Iowa by Dar Williams. I would not be the songwriter today without Dar Williams. So I'm particularly tickled to be able to share this song with you. I know this one very, very well. We're going to play it in the key of G. Here's a quick review of the pop progression in the key of G. Start, of course, on the G chord. We're going to go to the D chord here. Technically, you could also go to the D7 chord. I like the sound of the full D chord in this case. From here, we're going to go to the minor chord, which is E minor. That's a bit of a jump. It's a stair-step chord. Your index is on the 2nd fret of A, middle is on the 3rd fret of E, and ring fingers on the 4th fret of C. So you'll definitely want to take some time going between D and E minor. Right? Just making sure you feel good about getting from that chord to the next one. Then we're going to close it out with the C chord. Typically I would play that with my ring finger, but in this case I'm going to play it with my middle because then I'm just going to slide it back up to play the G. Right? That's one of those instances where sometimes I change the fingering because it's just more efficient that way. So once again, G to D to E minor to C. That's the chord progression that we are building the song on today. So let's see how this pop progression fits into this song. We're going to start off right away with 8 bars that start with the pop progression. G to D to E minor to C. But we're going to tie a little bit of a cleaner bow on it by going from G to D back to G for 2. So those 8 bars make up the intro. They also make up the first 8 bars of the verse. And in fact, we're just going to repeat those 8 bars again next in the verse. G again to D, to E minor, to C. Wrap it up with G, over to D, back to G for 2. All right? Now, then we're going to divert a little bit and we're going to add another chord. This next set of 8 bars is going to start with 2 bars of E minor, to a bar of C, to a bar of G. Now here comes the 5th chord to A minor, middle finger goes to the 2nd fret of G, for 2, to C, and then up to D. Whew, that's kind of a nice departure. And then we go back to the original 8 bars, G to D, E minor to C. Wrap it up with G, over to D, back to G again. There we go. Whew! It's kind of a long verse pattern, but what you'll find is when we get to the chorus, we're just borrowing those same 8 bars that we started and ended the verse with. G to D to E minor to C, back to G, over to D, and back to G for 2. That's it. So once we've gotten the verse, we've basically learned the whole song because the only other pattern we do outside of the verse is that 8-bar sequence. All right, so let's add in some strumming here. I used to call this the march strum. I call it kind of the slow rock strum. It's kind of a guitar-like strum. A lot of guitarists like to use this one. It's great for songs that you want to leave room for the lyrics in, yeah, just to kind of slows things down a bit. I'm going to strum down on 1, nothing on 2, strum down on 3, down on 4, up on and, back to 1. And there's going to be a nice emphasis on that first beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and down, pause, down, down, up, down, 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 up, down. And notice I've got a nice emphasis on that first beat. The 3, 4, and is a little bit less so, right? It's there just to keep the rhythm going. That first downbeat is there for the chord changes. So when I add those 8 bars in, G to D, E minor to C, back to G, over to D, and back to G for 2. Yeah, try that again. Now notice, 1, 2, 3, I'm moving, 1, 2, 3, while I'm strumming, which sounds a little counterintuitive, right? But remember, the back half of the bar is just there for the rhythm. The downbeat, the first beat, is there for the chord. So watch again. I'll play 1, 2, 3, 4. Move 1, 2, 3, 4. Move 1, 2, 3, 4, and move, right? Some I have to leave a little earlier than others. One more time. Here we go on G, moving to D, moving to E minor, moving to C, back to G, to D, back to G. All right, let's add some words. Verse 1. I've never had a way with women, but the hills of Iowa make me wish that I could. And again, I've never found a way to say I love you, but if the chance came by, oh, I would. Now here's where it changes. Strum pattern stays the same. Way back where I come from, we never mean to bother. We don't like to make our passions other people's concern, and we walk in the world of safe people, and at night we walk into our houses and burn. Here's the chorus. I one more time. Pause there. Whew. So that's a bit slower than we'll do it in the play along when you're playing up to speed, but I know learning a new strum pattern, you want to take it slow, right? And that's fine. Just make sure it doesn't stay there, right? Eventually we want to give it a little bit more levity once you've got the mechanics of your pattern there. We'll want to really emphasize the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Let that be the bigger pulse. Right? Notice how light it is in between, and really just lean in on that first beat to hear those chords. Right? So here you've got most of what you need for the entire song. We start with the intro, those 8 bars, the verse, the chorus also borrows those 8 bars again from the intro. Verse 2, chorus, there's an interlude that's the same as the intro. And then we get to verse 3. You feel like you're rounding for home, and nope, it's a different pattern at the end. We play through verse 3 almost entirely as we did verse 1 and 2. What changes is when we come out of those minor chord section of the verse, right? The E minor for 2, C to G, and then A minor for 2, to C and to D. Now here we would have typically gone back to the original 8 bars, but now we're going to do something else because the emotional stakes are higher. From there we're going to come back to C for 2 bars, to G, to E minor, and then back to C for 2, up to D for 2, and then resolve to the chorus. So here's what it's going to sound like with the lyrics. Halfway through verse 3, we're going along here. For tonight, I went running through the screen doors of discretion, for I woke up from a nightmare that I could not stand to see. You were wandering G on the hills, E minor of Iowa, back to C. You were not thinking of me, to D, into watch out there as you get to know the song, or if you are already familiar with the song, you'll know that that melody goes somewhere different than the previous verses. So it kind of demands a different chord progression as we come around to the end of the song in that final climactic chorus. All right, so take time with that too. Don't be surprised by that at the end. Certainly come on back, check any part of this pattern that you need to. You can also look ahead to the play along just to hear how it all fits together. You don't have to play along the first time, but when you are ready to play, I'll be there in that play along video. I'll see you there. In the meantime, enjoy your practice. One more quick thing. If this video was helpful to you, I encourage you to consider becoming a member. It's a great way to say thank you, to help keep this channel going, and also to enjoy some extra perks and resources on your musical journey. You can learn more by clicking join below next to the subscribe button, and I really appreciate the support. Thank you so much.